So I guess decided to cast what's her name, Wonder Woman into the Batman Superman movie. Have you heard about that?
I saw that.
What do you think, honestly?
I'm actually super surprisingly impressed. Like, okay,
Really?
let me start with the fact that I literally hate every news item about this movie. Every new thing makes me even less excited for what should be an absolutely glorious movie, which is Superman. And I mean, they've hated the first one, so that's not even relevant. But like, Ben Affleck as Batman was something I was okay with. And you know what? Who they cast as Wonder Woman? Totally excited. But I hate the fact that they cast Wonder Woman. I hate the fact that this movie started as Batman versus Superman nonsense, and now that they're progressively adding a billion different people and making this a really unnecessary. They're making the Justice League slowly and from the wrong direction.
They're just vomiting up superheroes at this point. I mean, like, yeah, I'm okay with the actress too. Me personally, I would have preferred someone like Lucy Lawless. That was the person I had in mind.
What I'm impressed with is they actually cast a Mediterranean human being instead of some white chick. They cast somebody from Israel, which, isn't necessarily the Amazon, but
close enough.
An appropriate cast.
I don't know. I've never seen the Fast and Furious movies, so I can't really judge. So, oh well. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nitpick. We are your hosts. I am Silas.
I am Kenneth.
And we are currently doing this show over Skype due to, time constraints. We're reaching the end of the semester here at our school, so things have been kind of crunched in terms of time.
And my appropriate word.
Oh yeah, and I am definitely ill right now. I've got I've got a sore throat and cold in my ear, so I'm going to be hustling through this. I know, it's hell. And so, once again, going through Skype, the audio may not be the best, but what can you do? We're here. And today we're going to be reviewing Hunger Games: Catching Fire, the sequel to the initial Hunger Games movie that came out about 3 weeks ago. Once again, we apologize for the time constraint.
It's my fault. Someone probably wants you to know it's my fault.
Well, I wasn't going to point fingers, but let's just go on from there. So we've got your Jennifer Lawrence. That's her? I didn't even know that was Jennifer Lawrence. Wait.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at IMDb and I'm just barely discovering, holy shit, that Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence was.
I'm sorry?
Who did you think Jennifer Lawrence was?
I didn't think she was in this thing.
But, Jennifer Lawrence?
Hello?
Dean?
You cut out for a second.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, well, it's alright. Wait. That's not Jennifer. Who was I thinking of? I was thinking of, that one chick who was, the mother in We're the Millers.
Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Oh, no. Oh, no. But, alright,
Off to a good start, Silas.
Yeah. So, as usual, as we're trying to get to be the usual, we're going to set a apparently now 12-minute timer on our conversation in regards to the movie. And then we'll end on our rating system, Ken's being a number out of 10 ratio, and mine being a 3-point system, reject, recommend, and in flight. Not in that order. And so without further ado, I will be starting now. Now, what were your preconceived notions walking into this movie?
I liked the first one.
Really?
It was good.
Really? I fucking loathe. I loathe the first one. It was...
Why?
First of all, the shaky cam. Oh, okay. Lord, the shaky cam. Everybody
had a problem with the shaky cam.
Well, I'm not going to forgive it. I'm not going to forgive it.
Anytime. I'm going to forgive it just because it was only in the beginning of the movie, and
no, it was consistent.
Queasy by the end.
it was consistent to me, I thought.
It was only when they were in the district. Once they hit the actual games in the capital, everything was pretty steady.
Right. And I also felt like the emotions were very forceful. I thought that, oh, Hunger Games, people being forced to kill each other. That will really get and let us in on everyone's emotions and test people's morals. Next thing you know, you see them traveling in groups saying, "Lol, did you see how that one chick died? It was so funny. Yeah, please don't kill me." And I was like, "Well, there goes any humanity I thought this movie could have." Instead, it's like, "Oh no, poor Katniss, poor Katniss." And I'm feeling like she's not the only victim here. It feels like this should be the premise where everybody's the victim.
That's why they made the second movie.
But the
She's
first
not the
movie
only
didn't
victim.
take advantage of that. So I was ready when I was walking into the theater. I was ready to be honest, I brought a flask in with me just in case. I was just like just in case it was as bad as the first one.
Okay.
I was miserable. However, I will say this. Now we're past our preconceived notions. Like you pretty much said you were going in with a positive attitude, right?
I mean, yeah, I was going in having been, yeah.
All
I was
right.
excited.
Well, like here's my issue with here's the thing is that I feel like the second movie, Catching Fire, it definitely learned from the first movie's mistakes. I will say that
Absolutely.
much. The shaky cam is mostly gone. It's
I didn't really notice it anywhere. I mean, like maybe if they were running,
there were a couple of like
avoid
action
that,
scenes
like-
where I can forgive it because action scenes, action scene.
I mean, we're talking about a movie. Like it's not like it was a Paul Greengrass movie.
As
You have action. You move the
As-
camera.
well, as long as you keep the action like the shaky cam not
Perceptible.
keep your finger off the zoom button. Don't make it like the action scenes in Man of Steel, okay? Don't just zoom in and out artificially.
Yeah.
And so I was willing to forgive the cinematography. The cinematography in this one was actually pretty good, as opposed to the first ones, which was absolutely
I think it was
atrocious.
the same cinematographer, though.
I'm sorry?
I think it was the same cinematographer, though.
Kudos to him, he learned.
It did look better. I agree with you.
Yes. And not only that, but they also managed to solidify a lot more of the 3D world that was in this this region. By the way, I want to address this right now. Where the fuck are we in this like is it a different time period? Is it a different planet?
No, I think it's a fictional universe. I
Yeah.
don't really think it's...
Well, that's the only thing I can conclude. Although from what I've heard from people who've actually read the book is that it's actually a post-apocalyptic universe, which
dystopian future. That makes sense.
it doesn't appeal to me as much as the fictional universe idea because everybody's like, "Yo, the world is fucked up. Let's make up a whole society built upon fucked up rules and regulations that go against the human nature and the way that society has built up itself." If you're getting what I'm saying right now.
I did not understand that, no.
Essentially, I felt like the idea of the Hunger Games sort of destroyed the concept of a dystopian society. You'd think a dystopian society would care a lot more about life, would say,
Well, I
we
mean,
don't
like,
want
it's
no
nothing
more
more,
people
it's
to die.
Nothing more, it's a genre reference. Every dystopian future sci-fi movie of the past has been that hyper-violent. The Running Man, Mad Max. It's all about hyper-violence in dystopian futures, at least genre speaking. And I think that's why this is that.
Well,
I don't know if it's saying that the future is automatically going to be violent and have no care for life. It's just the genre they're working in.
I know, it just doesn't appeal to me, I suppose. The whole concept of, a post-apocalyptic universe. You'd expect that life to gain some sacredness, You'd expect for people to actually learn from their mistakes, but I guess that's the humanist in me. Regardless, going back to the movie itself as opposed to the series as a whole, how would you feel about the actors and what they were doing with their characters?
I thought all the actors did a really good job. I mean, this isn't about the acting, but I thought one of the main things that was better about Catching Fire was that I didn't want to slap PETA anymore.
Yeah, that is definitely
That was
definitely
the issue
true.
through the whole first movie. I was like, God, PETA, just. I know there's something inside you. Bake some bread for everyone in the Hunger Games since they're so hungry.
Right.
But this movie, he stepped up.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for saying this, but I don't know how Josh Hutcherson still has a career. I mean, don't get me wrong. He seems like he's a nice guy and everything, but he is he's climbing a mountain of bad roles, and he's still even since childhood is still rolling with the punches. He's had nothing but bad roles in my opinion, and he always has this dumb derpy look on his face no matter what scene he's in, where he's got his mouth open and his eyes just like soaking into his eye sockets. It's very
What he looks like.
I don't know. It's poor. I feel bad for saying it, but the guy can't really act. I mean, he's no whatever his name was, the kid who was Anakin before Hayden Christensen. He's no that kid. He was never that kid, but he wasn't ever a good actor per se, in my opinion. As for
I honestly know if I've actually seen him in any other movie.
Zathura,
Never saw it.
you never saw. You're not missing much.
I don't even think I've seen Jumanji.
He wasn't in Jumanji.
No, I know, but that was just related to Zathura.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
seen Jumanji.
That's accurate. But, I mean, and I'm afraid same goes for Jennifer Lawrence. I'm not sure what else she's been in, but I felt like she has this...
Stupid.
She has... Wait, what?
I said, well, that's just stupid.
What?
You're going to say that Jennifer Lawrence can't act.
What? Are you saying that I'm wrong?
I'm saying that you have never been wronger in anything we've ever discussed.
Holy shit! I mean...
Did you see Silver Linings Playbook?
I have not. This is my first Jennifer Lawrence movie, I believe.
Weren't you in the class where we watched Winter's Bone?
Oh, that was her. Was that her, the main character?
Winter's Bone. What?
Was that her, the main character?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, she was alright in that one. Alright. Maybe this series... Okay, I'll pin it on bad directing. Is that fair? Would that be fair?
Not really, because I think it was well directed, but I'll accept it more than Jennifer Lawrence is a bad actress.
Alright. Never mind. My mistake. I'm not familiar with her all that much. It's just this and Winter's Bone that I've seen her in. But other than that, by the way, I'm going to say this right now. I'm pissed off over the fact that everybody's name is like a pseudo Christian based name that just like sounds like a Christian name that isn't actually a Christian name or a Latin name.
What do you mean by Christian name?
Well, like one with a Christian / Latin origin, like Katniss. Katniss sounds a ton like Candace. I thought her name was Candace until I saw it on paper.
Well, PETA, every time...
And then PETA! Fucking PETA!
Every time someone says PETA's name, I swear they have an English accent, so it literally...
Yeah!
Like...
That's what I thought too.
I'm pretty sure my mom still thinks his name is Peter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is to blame more on, what's her name? Suzanne Collins. I think it's more to blame on her. But it was very distracting to me.
Weird, silly names is sort of a staple of the young adult genre.
Unfortunately.
J.K. Rowling was amazing at it, but everybody else is pretty...
lackluster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say this. I think Stephanie Meyer named her characters okay.
Renesmee.
Okay, Breaking Dawn was horrible. I don't care if you're a fan of the series or not. I've read every single book, and this is a whole nother topic. We're getting way off track. But, okay, going now to the plot. It was alright. The plot was, held better than Hunger Games. It did what it could have with the premise. What Hunger Games didn't. It didn't. I don't feel like the
I mean,
Hunger Games took advantage of its premise very well. Well, what?
right. It's a series.
It's
That's all. It's a series.
what is that supposed to mean? Every
Well,
movie should
that
be.
means that it's
Every
all about-
sequel should be able to stand on its own.
Well, I mean, it's a series. And that might be a failure, but it's a series. That as a whole, they're greater than their separate pieces.
Like, is there any floppier character than President Snow in this series? 'Cause
Floppier?
what?
Did you say floppier?
Yeah.
How? What does that mean?
Like, the entire premise behind him not getting an excuse to friggin' shoot her is saying, we need to give the people hope. And then,
No,
like,
they need to
the
take
people
hope.
get hope, and he's like, oh, too much hope, better kill him.
No, he said they need to give her hope. Give them hope.
Yeah, give them hope.
No, he said the opposite. He hates the hope.
Yeah, but he said
She's
earlier in the
That's
movie
why he
that
won't
he
shoot
wanted to
her.
give them hope.
So
That's the reason why he's not killing her, is because they
No,
need
he's not
something to look
killing her
up to.
He's not killing her because she already gives them hope, and if he shoots her, then the hope that she represented is now against them rather than with them. He doesn't shoot her because he needs her, because she is already hope. And killing her makes her a martyr and him a villain.
But he's already a freaking villain.
Yeah, nobody knows that.
Yes, they do. They're
That's
sacrificing
actually,
people to him, and they're super crying all the time.
They don't have the chutzpah to push yet, and killing her would give them a reason to shoot back. Right now, they might even all think he's a villain, but they don't think they have the power to rise against. But Katniss is slowly showing them. And I mean, not just her, which is what this movie showed us, that they're all symbols of hope. But she gets to be the Mockingjay.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I'm nauseous as well, so I'm just going to say okay to whatever you just said. I apologize. Illness is troubling. Also, I'm gonna say this right now. My favorite scene in this movie has to be the elevator scene.
I remember it, but I can't remember it.
The elevator scene with like
that was funny.
yeah, that was the best. Like, I've never seen Jennifer Lawrence act so expressionate before. That was great.
Really
Like, I was laughing for a
Jennifer
good
Lawrence was hilarious.
3 to 4 minutes. Like, all because of that. It was hands down the best directed scene, in my opinion, of that entire movie. Now, I'm going to say this. Unlike the first one, I feel like this one allows you to get more grounded with all of your main characters a lot more, as opposed to saying Katniss. Ugh. But I think that the characters in this one are a lot more deep and fleshed out than in the first one. What? Would you agree?
In the first one, we really only got Katniss.
Yeah.
We knew that. I don't even remember his name. Woody Harrelson.
Hey Mitch.
Haymitch. We knew that Haymitch had like a dark past,
Mitch.
And that he's like super depressed, so he drinks. But they play his drinking off as like the funniest joke in the whole movie, even though that's probably really the darkest thing until murder starts happening. Pete is just like, and Gail is just like, and then Prim is like, oh my god, and the mother's like, but like everybody's a bad cat.
We're still referring to the first movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I
This movie, everybody's
solid, ultimately.
Although
I will say this, like, what's her name? The grandma character who volunteered for over, like, a really young girl. Like, her death in that movie was, like, as anticlimactic as you could get, in my opinion.
I didn't really expect it to be climactic.
Well, like, they gave, like, Rue just, like, all of this Oscar-grabbing death scene.
Well, that was what Rue did. It was different deaths. I don't. They're not really the same.
Well, they aren't the same, but I was expecting them to at least try. I mean, Rue died within like 3 to 4 scenes, so despite how much they wanted me to give a shit about this character, I could not. With her, we've got like 10 scenes with her, and you're just like, okay, we can connect to you. Give us an epic death that we can react to.
But I think that's the point of the Hunger Games. Not everybody has an epic death. Some people just vanish into a cloud of flesh-eating whatever the hell that was smoke.
Of MacGuffin smoke. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that leads me into another point. I think that the challenges in this one are a lot sillier than in the first movie. I mean, I feel like it doesn't detract from the experience a great ton, but it definitely subtracts from the serious tone of it.
I mean, if you think about it.
Like how they say, the smoke is poison, yet it boils and burns.
Like, literally, if she had shouted any other word but poison, I feel like that would have been like a gripping moment.
You can say like, but hey, acid smoke.
Somehow the fog is poison. No, it's like the fog is burning me.
The fog,
perfect and like gripping. But
yeah.
Somehow the fog is poison. Really took me out of that moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like this poison is burning through my flesh. You keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means.
The fuck is poison?
And then there was also the baboon thing.
Baboons.
Like the hordes of baboons. Like,
I had seen
a whole horde of Rafikis just...
I had watched the worst movie on the planet the night before, which is The Great and Oz, the Great and Powerful.
My aunt, like, I watched that for a family get-together, and my aunt got so pissed at me for pointing out everything that was wrong with it.
The only thing I could think about when the baboons in Catching Fire happened was the flying baboons they had in that movie.
Oh my god. Like, I can get what they're trying to do with that. It's just like, yeah, monkeys are scary and all, but...
I mean, monkeys are literally horrifying. Like, yeah. Truly, that would be, like, one of the scariest things. But monkeys also have the cultural notion of being monkeys.
Yeah.
Not always scary, so, like...
I'm sure we'll get flack for calling them monkeys, even though they're technically baboons or what have you.
Yeah, but, like, whatever.
Whatever. It's the internet. But,
I mean, like, baboons...
They just pulled it off.
Monkeys are silly. Baboons, red butts. Like...
No, it's blue butts.
Straight to the butts when we think
it's blue butts.
Whatever, butts.
Bluish purple.
That's just, oh god.
I apologize for painting a picture.
Yeah. A vivid one.
And then we come down to like the whole clock aspect that they reveal later on in the movie, which I felt like was extremely unnecessary.
I feel like it could have been cool, but like they didn't do enough with it.
Yeah, they did not do enough with it whatsoever.
Because it was sort of like, it's a clock, this is it. And then the guy's like, look, I moved the clock. So now
surprise! They'll teach you. And like, going out of this theater, I came to this conclusion. I was just like, why'd they make the lightning the signal again? Like, they're watching them all the time. It's just like, yeah, you can have that for their signal, but then if they say, hey, that's the signal for them. Okay, let's switch the signal for the midnight or what have you. And instead it's just like, no, we're just gonna let them roll with it. You know, not a big deal. Just gonna let them escape this clear dungeon that they're not supposed to get out of. You know, it just... like, I felt like the movie, you could actually take it seriously up until the fog rolls in. When the fog rolls in is when everything decides to start tumbling downwards in terms... Like, it didn't make the movie bad, but it made me not able to take it seriously anymore.
The fog was metaphorically poison.
Stop it! No! But would you say that that's when it started not taking itself seriously? When you couldn't take it seriously, or?
No, I mean,
Or could you
plus,
never
like,
take it seriously?
I did think like some of the challenges, but like they did enough of the rest seriously that I didn't lose too much focus.
All right, that's fair.
So we're doing enough with the characters dealing with the silly things,
Hmm.
dealing with and the fact that the silly poison fog actually was like literally like causing disgusting boils.
I don't know. It felt like a happening moment to me. You know,
Well,
like a happening moment where they're just like running from nothing, from just
running
the
from
air,
fog,
the evil air that's
really
coming to kill them
falling.
from the trees.
Well, like the happening to me actually is horrifying because I have bad allergies, so I really like it's a real danger. But
Don't give M. Night Shyamalan credit. Whatever you do. The Happening. Movie made by asthmatics for asthmatics.
pretty much.
All right. And of course, this being a in-between sequel to a trilogy, we had to have our big suspenseful climax where they just throw a whole bunch of crap in our face and expect us to say, "Oh, whatever. We can't wait for this third one." Okay. To me, that part didn't really make much sense. It doesn't disappoint me because I saw it coming a mile away.
No,
Because
yeah,
once again, second sequel in a trilogy, there's gonna be a cliffhanger at the end, regardless. A-
right.
And
I
what?
thought I mean, like it was a little bit like everything, but at the same time, I was like, okay, I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours. I can accept that
Yeah,
cliffhanger.
like once again, I'm not going to complain about this one as much as I did the one from several from Thor 2 because unlike Thor 2's, this climax can actually make sense within the universe's laws, and it doesn't contradict anything that we've
No,
seen
yeah.
before. So I'm willing to forgive
In
those.
fact, it's all super logical.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see when that comes in the third one. Once again, I like the dead man's chest climax, but then the third one just sent it spiraling down and ultimately slaughtered it before my very eyes. All right, so I think we've said everything that we need to, and we are way over our time limit, but I've decided to ultimately toss out the time limit. All right, so do you think we're ready for our verdict?
I think so.
All right, so do you want to start or should I start?
I think I started with Thor, so I'm gonna let you start this time.
All right. Now, like I said before, this movie improves greatly upon the first one, which absolutely, in my opinion, did near most everything wrong. With its horrible cinematography, horrible characters, cliched moments, etc., etc. I was ready to slam this movie for it. However, once again, cinematography smooth as butter, characters fleshed out. However, I do feel like the plot is flimsy at times. It tries to be a lot more than it actually is and lays a whole bunch of philosophies don't really that really contradict the characters' motives when they say it. It was essentially trying to be something that it simply wasn't being. And not only that, but as much as I loved the aspect of the fleshed out characters, I feel like the ending events, however, as entertaining as they were a bit silly, and a lot of the characters really, in my opinion, deserved better attention as opposed to, they might just walk off into a fog for no reason. And so, with that being said, it's not a bad movie. It's a lot more than I anticipated it for being, and for that reason, I'll give it an in flight. So feel free to see it if you've got the time. All right, now to you, good sir.
I agree with everything you said except for the negative stuff. 9.7.
Holy! You're just handing out positive reviews. What the hell? Okay, what's your reasoning? You have to describe your reasoning.
It was everything it should be. It had surprising emotional depth. It made 2.5 hours seem like 10 minutes, and I wanted more. The acting, despite what you thought or claimed about poor Josh Hutcherson,
Or Josh Hutcherson.
was effective. It was funny and dark. It was violent, but surprisingly slipped a lot of stuff into its PG-13 rating that needed to be there for its
like the elevator scene.
Pretty much my only problem with the movie was that I think they tried to make Jennifer Lawrence look like a slightly tanner ethnicity than she is.
I can see that.
It's problematic.
I can see that. Well, I mean, then again, a lot of the people in this movie are pale, so I can't rely on that. It might just be a trick of the eyes, and it's just like, she's not pale as everybody else, and she must have gotten a whole new makeup artist. Therefore, darker minority. Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, that was a very interesting session. I very much enjoyed it. And so, for our next review, we will hopefully be doing the next blockbuster that's going to come out. That's going to come out within approximately a week from when we're recording this, assuming that too much doesn't get in the way. And I'll leave that up to your guys' imaginations, though. You're smart. You can figure it out. But if for some reason we lack time again, Ken, I'm going to have. I see you giving me that look. But then I am going to have to choose what we're going to watch next. And oh boy, will that be fun. So,
God.
Until we meet again, I'm Silas.
I'm Ken.
And Das Vidania. God, Toodles. What?